Good morning. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Fausto Natarelli. I'm the director of the Windsor Border Initiatives Implementation Group for the Ministry of Transportation, and I have the pleasure of being your host today. We're happy to have so many representatives from the public and the private sector join us today. Let me give you an indication of who's with us this morning. We have officials from our binational partners, Transport Canada and the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT. We have elected and staff officials from Windsor-Essex municipalities and, of course, the county. We're also pleased to have a representative of the Walpole Island First Nation with us this morning. We have officials from the University of Windsor, St. Clair College, officials from the local construction industry, the Windsor Heavy Construction Association, and Laborers International, LIUNA, are with us this morning. We have officials from the Essex Conservation Authority, the Regional Conservation Authority, and Workforce Windsor. So welcome. It's great to have you here. Now, many of you have been following this project since early in the DRIC study, going back to 2005, but you've probably become more familiar of late with the Windsor-Essex Parkway. Today's announcement is being webcast on our project website, windsor-essex-parkway.ca, and I welcome viewers who are not able to join us, but with the benefit of modern technology, I'm actually quite impressed to be able to tell you that we have viewers who are watching us this morning from Spain, from the Czech Republic, and from all over the United States and Canada. So it's great to have the technology provide us with such reach. With me this morning, I have Garfield Dales, who is the project manager of the Windsor-Essex Parkway, the delivery office for our team, and Roger Hamner, who is the Vice President, Civil Infrastructure from Infrastructure Ontario. They're going to update you on the progress of the Windsor-Essex Parkway and the procurement-related activities. So I'm going to turn it over to Garfield Dales.
Thank you, Fausto. Good morning. It's a real pleasure for me to be here with you today to update you on some of the activities that the Ministry of Transportation has been involved with this important project. We're all familiar with the Detroit River International Crossing Study and the purpose behind it. Improving regional mobility and transportation has been this government's focus for the past 6 years. We are implementing with this project the necessary improvements to keep people and goods moving through the Windsor-Essex Gateway between Canada and the United States, an important gateway for this province and for the country. From the beginning of our study to where we are today, we focused on three main factors: improving regional transportation and mobility, minimizing community and environmental impacts, and meeting community goals. The Windsor-Essex Parkway was approved by Ontario in August of 2009. Once completed, the Windsor-Essex Parkway will be the most significant highway investment in Ontario's history. The Parkway will create 12,000 jobs, with the majority right here in Windsor-Essex. The Windsor-Essex Parkway will be a 6-lane freeway facility with a new 4-lane service road network. It will be below grade with the latest in illumination, stormwater facilities, and intelligent transportation systems. The Parkway features a great deal of community and environmental features, including 11 tunnels covering 1.8 kilometers of the Parkway, more than 300 acres of green space, and 20 kilometers of recreational trails. Extensive noise mitigation and environmental mitigation strategies also form part of this project. In the past 2 years, we have reached several major milestones, beginning with the identification of the Windsor-Essex Parkway and the location of the plaza and bridge crossings in 2008. Last year was a busy year for us with the assignment of this project to Infrastructure Ontario, the completion of preliminary design, the environmental assessment approvals, and the start of demolition and the property assembly process, as well as the start of initial construction. This year, in 2010, we've also been quite busy. We have continued with demolition, initial construction, and work on endangered species mitigation. I'm also proud to announce that the Canadian DRIC study team was the recipient of the Transportation Association of Canada Award for Environmental Achievement. It's a first for Ontario and Canada together, and a first for Ontario in this category. This year, we've also been busy preparing the corridor for full construction. This includes the initial construction of 2 bridges and a section of noise wall, which began in December of last year. This $15.5 million contract was awarded to a local contractor and brought 140 jobs to the area. Also, as I speak, we have utility relocation work underway with BP Canada and Union Gas, with the relocation of 4 major gas pipelines prior to the start of full construction. We've also begun the process to designate the highway to allow construction to proceed, and we're undertaking the relocation of the Trillium Court residential development area and working with the residents of that community in the relocation process. Property acquisition has been a major undertaking for us. We've needed to acquire 900 properties. I'm happy to say we've met with many property owners. We've been able to reach amicable agreements with the majority of those property owners, and to date we've invested close to $218 million in assembling property. We're also continuing to demolish buildings in this corridor. We've tendered 6 demolition contracts so far. Close to $100 million worth of demolition activity has been underway in this corridor. I think you'll agree with me that driving down Huron Church Road, there's a marked difference in the landscape of that corridor as we start to demolish buildings and bring this project forward. I think most of you also know that Windsor and Essex County are home to a very diverse and unique ecological environment. Through our study work and the process that we've undertaken so far, we've identified 8 species that are involved with this project and impacted. Our team has been working with our partners at the Ministry of Natural Resources to identify these species, develop mitigation plans, and implement measures to protect, create, and restore habitat for these endangered species. The permits that we've received for this work are the first granted under the new endangered species legislation, and we're implementing plans that will be a benchmark for future work in Ontario. We also have recognized throughout this process that we can't do this work alone. We've reached out to the community not only to deliver improvements, but also to deliver benefits to the community. I'd like to highlight a few of those areas. An important initiative, we partnered with the We Pay It Forward group to salvage materials and buildings on properties that we own before demolition. The work that this initiative has done, they've been working through the summer. We've salvaged close to 150 tons of materials that have worked their way back into the community. We've also provided funding to the University of Windsor and Dr. Bill Anderson to study the regional impacts associated with this project. We've also worked with Walpole Islands First Nation, who have assisted us in endangered species mitigation work. This week, the Workforce Windsor initiative released a 134-page report identifying the type and number of jobs and skills that will be needed to build this Parkway project. We've also been working with local, regional, and national emergency services personnel who've used our buildings for training purposes. So those are just some of the initiatives that we've been working on closely with the community. I'd now like to turn the presentation over to Roger Hamner, who will talk about the progress that's been done in the procurement phase of this project. Roger.
Thank you very much, Garfield. We started our selection process in June 2009, and we did that by issuing a request for qualifications. Today, 16 months later, we're ready to announce the winning bidder. 5 teams responded to our request for qualifications last summer. We selected the 3 best qualified teams based on their technical and financial submissions. Those 3 teams were the Windsor Essex Mobility Group, the Windsor Essex Transportation Partners, and the Rose City Parkway Group. And all 3 teams included some of the world's best engineering and road building companies. Each shortlisted team was invited to submit a detailed proposal. Over the next 7 months, we worked closely with all 3 teams to ensure that they fully understood our project requirements. This process was supervised by an independent fairness monitor to ensure that all 3 teams were treated fairly and equitably. On August 6th, we received their 3 proposals. The proposals were evaluated by 2 teams of experts. One team looked at the technical proposals, and the other team looked at the financial proposals. Each evaluation team included members from both MTO and Infrastructure Ontario. The technical and financial evaluation scores were added together, and the highest score became today's preferred proponent. In this case, the preferred proponent had the highest overall technical score. They ranked first in every technical category, and they had the lowest price. So all of our evaluators agreed that they were the clear winner. And MPP Crozier will introduce them in just a moment. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Thanks, Garfield. So I hope you agree that we've reached a new project milestone. Deputy Speaker and MPP for Essex, Bruce Crozier, will share with you in a moment. Minister Puputello is here, of course, this morning, along with Minister Duncan and Minister Wynne. So I neglected to tell you how this is all going to work. So we've started the formal portion of the segment. We're going to have some formal remarks by our ministers. That's going to be followed by a Q&A that we'd like to be oriented towards the ministers. Technical questions, if you could, we'd like to do them after the Q&A. We have Garfield and Roger here who will assist you in answering technical questions.